Feel free to check out this video. Again, there's going to be a bunch of links and information in the description. Check out some of our previous videos, and we got some pretty awesome stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks and months. So be on the lookout. Really appreciate you guys checking out this video. Hey, how's it going everybody? Harrison George here with the Harrison George team. Today we're going to be walking you through some of the philosophy of the all-in-one, and we're going to walk you through the OREO method. All right guys, so obviously we've gone about this all-in-one loan. We've talked about it from forward to backwards, up to down, left to right, north to south, who knows, right? But essentially we're just going to walk you through some of the philosophies of once you get into this loan. Again, it's a little bit of a different kind of mental pathway to figure out, does this make sense? Does it not make sense? We get that. Check out some of our previous videos. That should guide you into understanding if it makes sense or if it doesn't make sense. We're going to walk you through something called the OREO of the AIO. And essentially, this is an acronym to help you understand the mental philosophy behind getting into this product. I'm going to walk you through individually what the acronym means, and then we're going to get into a little more detail about the product. Again, so the OREO of the AIO, it stands for O, obliterate debt. We're going to want to pay off debt as fast as possible. Debt is rising in the United States, whether it's mortgage debt, personal debt, consumer debt, cars, and so on. We're wanting to help people get out of debt, and that is the priority number one, because it helps us lead into the rest of this. R stands for reserve accumulation. And essentially, as you pay down your debt and you get rid of all of these expenses over here, that money, as opposed to going towards those debts, is now just going to be sitting in this big line of credit. You have access to it, but while you're waiting to use it, it's offsetting what you owe. E, it means expansion or expand through strategic asset acquisition. We want to help you take that reserves that you've built up over the course of the last 6, 12, 24 months and strategically find the place to deploy it so that you can add to your engine. Now, your engine in the terms of this conversation is going to be the money coming in. Right now, most households have 1 to 2 engines: household income from their employers or from the job that they're self-employed at. Lastly, the O. We're going to want to optimize that income, and we're going to want to eliminate the debt again. Kind of starting back up at the top, and we're going to work our way through this. Depending on what your goals are, when you want to retire, how soon you need to retire, these are so many questions that we're going to want to walk you through, and you're going to want to ask yourself to decide how many of these engines do I need to obtain before I need to pay my home off and get to that actual retirement freedom date. So let's get into the first O. Let's obliterate our debt. This loan allows for you to park all of your income and park it against the balance of your mortgage so that your interest accrues on a lower average daily balance. Now, realistically, the payment on this is calculated at the end of every day. So it's not calculating on the average daily balance. Realistically, it's taking the balance at the end of every single day and calculating your interest on each of the days. This allows for you to remain fully liquid, and depending on positive spending habits, you can actually take advantage of those interest expense by turning the timing of when you pay your bills off into an actual numerical money in your pocket decision. Now, obviously, how do we get there? We take our money, direct deposit it or otherwise, mobile deposit and so on, and we deploy it and put it into our checking account with our all-in-one. Now, that will sweep against your mortgage balance, and depending on how you batch or pay your bills, it doesn't make sense to say, great, I got paid today, let's pay one bill tomorrow, let's pay another bill in 3 days, let's pay another bill in 10 days. Let's make sure we take advantage of the bank's free money. Again, credit cards can get you into trouble if you don't know how to properly take advantage of them. But if you batch all of those bills and say, great, I have all of these expenses and I'm going to push them out 20, 25, 28 days while I'm not accruing interest on that, but taking advantage of reducing my interest on the all-in-one. Now, obviously, the intention is to use your credit card, pay all of your bills with the credit card, and then pay it off from your all-in-one in one single swoop. Let's get into the R, reserve accumulation. As you begin to pay off your debts, the first O in OREO is going to be maybe a 6, 12, 13, 20-month payoff. Or in many instances, if you have enough equity in your home, you could do this in day 1, hour 1, which means you get to jump right into the reserve accumulation stage, which means that as you're no longer paying those bills over there on the high interest credit card debt or other debt, you're going to be sticking that into your mortgage. That's going to allow for you to pay your home off fast. And as you set your milestones, great, I want to set 1 month, 6 months, 12 months of reserves for my typical spending habits so that I always have this cushion behind me. It adds security as well as reducing amounts of interest. My wife and I, we kind of like to look at our all-in-one from time to time and say, wow, look at this. With our spending habits and what we did with the all-in-one, because we track it pretty diligently, essentially we're saying, great, we saved $120 this month. Technically, we could go out and celebrate by having a wonderful dinner, or the smart way to do it is let's take advantage of that money sitting in the account. Now, $120 over 1 month isn't that big of a deal, but this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. We're slowly chipping away at our mortgage balance, and that $120 turns into $180 to $200 to $250. And that can add up to some serious money. Now let's talk about how we get there. Again, we're gonna keep our idle cash inside of the all-in-one, and that way we're gonna reduce the expense on the interest associated with our balance. And by reducing that balance over time, we're going to essentially take advantage of more and more money staying in our account. Let's get into the E, expansion, through smart asset acquisition. Now, what is essentially, we use access to our capital from our reserves that allow for strategic investments that give us either returns or positive cash flow. Now, we're not saying, hey, go out and spend more money and inflate your lifestyle by just having access to more money. Now you can go buy a new car and you can go and buy, a second home. Yes, you can do those depending on your specific scenario. But to really build this engine, we're going to look at how do we get into something like this. And really it's, hey, let's talk about rental properties. Let's talk about whole life insurance. Hey, maybe we want to start a business. I know plenty of people who have decided, hey, look, we've paid our home off. We were W-2 income. We've paid our home down or really close to off. One of the individuals in the household actually decided to stop working their W-2 job and actually began to explore additional self-employed income routes. Again, they can take advantage of tax write-offs and so many other events, but this line of credit they have gave them the cushion to say, well, we're going to go and buy this business. We're going to go buy a laundromat. We're going to go buy some entity, or maybe we're going to start our own business. Hey, I want to be a plumber. Hey, I want to be a welder. I want to get all the necessary tools, and I want to go out and start my own business. This can give you that autonomy to begin your own business, which I just find incredibly amazing. Lastly, we're talking about the last O in our OREO. Again, this last O means optimize and eliminate. Again, what does that mean? Now that we have this other engine, likely bringing us in monthly income or other positive returns through other investments, we can take our income plus this other income and pay off that new increased balance. If we pulled out $100,000, bought a rental property, and that property's cash flowing after everything's all said and done, $250 or $300, well, that's an extra $250 or $300 coming in, plus what you're making on the side. It can help you pay that balance down. And depending on what that intention is with the property, you could be making much more. Sometimes short-term rentals are way more profitable. Sometimes you're not getting in for the rental income, but you're taking advantage of the equity appreciation. And you can just really go down the path of which one makes the most sense for you. Again, this is just a conversation that you probably need to have. Write down on a piece of paper, contact us, we'll walk you through it. But now that you have this other engine firing on other cylinders, you can pay that debt off faster. Now, as it makes sense, you're going to want to deploy that money not into a separate checking account. You're going to want to put that money back into this line of credit. You're going to continue to follow the original OREO steps and pay down the balance. As you go through something like this, we're going to want to set quarterly reviews with you. Hey, am I doing it right? Hey, I want to do this. Hey, I feel like I've done a good job at buying rental properties, deploying in whole life investments, maybe starting a business. I have other cash flow. I think right now maybe I do want to do something for me. Maybe I do want to buy a boat. This isn't about living a frugal lifestyle by all means. It's just about being diligent and building healthy spending habits with your income and to figure out what other income sources can you bring in to allow for you to live the life that you want to live. Again, this OREO concept is a little different and we want to walk people through it because once you get the general understanding of this product, figuring out how you can obliterate your debt, build assets, find other investments, and then begin to pay that new investment back so you can continue this machine So your goal may be saying, hey, I don't need to retire at 67. Hey, maybe my significant other can stop working. Maybe we can start that family sooner than we wanted to start our family. This is putting the power back in your pocket. And realistically, we talk about it all the time. Time is the only thing that does not matter or does not care about how much money you have. So if we can figure out how to put more time back in your life and maybe a couple extra bucks in your pocket so you can go and do the things that you want to do, that's what's really important to us. Really appreciate you checking out this video. Click the link in the description, click anywhere you want. We're here to help you. Peace.